I offer my obeisances time and again unto my spiritual master and Shri Gaurachandra, Srimati Radhika, her associates and her abode, Shri Vrindavan, and unto Shri Krishna, his devotees, and the devotees of his devotees. So this is summary of week 12 of the year 2017. So again, I have collected some interesting subjects. Thank you for your attention. Looking forward to your participation. So what do we have? Playfully exploring the twilight with light of love, meeting with, shining into, and dissolving shadows of the illusion of separation. So the twilight is where the light meets the dark, thus shining into the shadow, and naturally a shadow dissolves when light shines into it, because darkness has no substance. So similarly, the true light is the light of consciousness, and the shadow here is that which we don't want to recognize, the truth that we don't want to see, that we were not willing to see maybe in the past. But if by connection with Supreme Consciousness we get the strength, the willingness to see reality as it is, then this illusion of separation can end, which is actually the cause of all suffering, because we identify with something that we are not. Which brings us to the next aphorism. Love is a river of attention, and the question is where to direct the flow of that river. So there is an ancient saying, as far as I remember, it's from the Bhagavad Purana, ancient Vedic literature, which states that by giving water to the root, automatically the whole tree, all its branches and trees are nourished. So where to give the attention? Now, if you want to take this analogy, if you want to take care of your garden, you don't water every leaf, because that way you will never be ready. Instead, you give water to the root. So again, in this analogy, what is the root and what are the leaves? The root is that from which all existence comes, which is, of course, the supreme, omnipotent, independent, and all-knowing, all-beautiful, all-benevolent source, the Supreme Consciousness. And of course, from nothing, nothing comes, as we can see in this world. So that Supreme Consciousness is always the symptom of a person. And so by giving our attention there and aligning with that Supreme Person's wishes, then we will be in such a flow of love that everyone else we come in contact with will be automatically satisfied. Except for those who are diabolically opposed, who are completely attached to their state of separation, they may go into hiding for some time. Now another aspect here is from the mental family system, as I call it, based on the internal family system, but internal is still not completely internal. So let's quote here. We make excuses and cover our own hurts and needs. It oftentimes is not really self-reflection, but self-avoidance. Because the needy and paining parts of our mental covering family are closer to the self, and the protectors or managers make sure that the light of consciousness does not reach the exiled, paining members until the managers have gained trust that I, the self, am able to take good care of them. So, when a situation is overwhelming, it is overwhelming because we are in a state of separated consciousness. And the solution is to identify oneself correctly as part of the whole, and then the situation will not be overwhelming. And from that connection with the whole, the self can be nourished, and the self qualities, compassion, creativity, calmness, curiosity, etc., can be so strong that even though the light of consciousness may be directed towards some shadows because of the connection with Source, then it will not be drawn into a separated identification, but self-consciousness can be kept alive, and thus the shadows can be dissolved with the loving Source connection. So whatever is happening is perfect for my learning. Learning harmony, which is our duty to the world, is being in harmony and balance as much as possible, and to truly get over the feelings of loss and separation, realizing the unity that always exists as a higher truth. The only problem is the I want, the identification with some part that says I want, instead of what does the Supreme want, which is a valuable but needy member of the mental covering family, who I, as the loving self, may take care of by witnessing, unburdening, reconstituting, and reintegrating in harmony, means in a proper relation to Source. Of course, the true I is I am love, and love means service. So I am a loving servant of the Supreme, and that is the same that you are, and we are. That is the higher truth. I observe that some of our well-wishing mental covering family members could improve the way of holding their truth like a code for our dear fellow members and fellow humans to smoothly try and see if it fits for them. So there is a relative truth which are separated identities have of reality and situations that they experience from that separated state of consciousness. And when they come in contact with self, then the self can explain their perspective in a relative way, which then does make it more easy, and it is not a demand for others to accept that point of view. Then we're already reaching already over 9 minutes. So if you find this discussion valuable, please like, and most of all, most importantly, share for the benefit of all. May the OM-Love be with you. Looking forward to your responses. Jai Radhe Shyam.